pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Welcome to November. I'd like to say it's a week from today, it's going to be a heck of a lot more peaceful.
We hope.
I don't know, maybe.
Not sure about that.
That's a week from today. Election.
Yeah, due to the election.
It's like the furthest thing from.
I'll call to order the Jefferson County Local Development Corporation. This is our Thursday, November 3rd meeting. Is there anyone who'd like to address the LDC at this time? We received minutes from our last meeting. Any corrections
No, sir.
and or additions?
I'll accept them as offered.
I'll second that.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries, thank you. Treasurer's report?
Starts on page 7 of your package, and that's your income statement. So just looking at it, there's fairly good income for this month over actual expenses, and it is slightly down from previous months, which was last year's budget. So we're working in our first full month of the new budget on both expenses and revenue side. Nothing peculiar there. It is down about 12,000 from the prior month, which was last year's budget, predominantly from the National Grid grant, which is expired and expensed out, and, the National Grid grant, and then a little bit less in admin fees. Nothing really peculiar in the operation side of the expenses. It's half of what it was previously. Nothing unusual on the operations page. Again, these are just snapshots of different areas of. We've got a couple bonds reported under the marketing program, which will, as Lyle always says, these are commitments that we have coming in. We just have to record them as we spend them. And I'm sure we'll spend every dollar of them for the use they were provided. And we'd like to spend more than, but they'll be put to good use by our sales and marketing and agency. Going through to the balance sheet, the only obvious is the checking account is extremely low. It's bolstered by a very robust savings account. The National Grid European grant is in and out. You'll see it above and below, as well as the Canadian grant. It's in and out, above and below. So they're just really a zero-sum game. We have a grant, we spend it, we record it, it becomes a liability. Healthy balance sheet in regard to its macro level of nearly $5 million. Going through the aged receivables, again, nothing particularly unusual there. And you'll notice on the cash receipts, the biggest single one is our subsidy from the county, the $270,000 that was brought into the agency, which helps fund the majority of what's done through the agency and predominantly the LDC. Nothing else in the check register that stood out. There's year-end expenses. Remember, October was a year-end, so there's ins and outs of larger sums for RBC, wealth management, for payroll distributions and commitments from the agency. So those are expected and understood. And nothing to add from Lyle, or
Fine job.
didn't stumble too bad that first time?
Pretty well.
Okay. So I asked for the.
Any questions on the treasurer's report? Entertain a motion to accept the treasurer's report.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Thanks, Rob.
Thank you.
Our audit committee. Anyone, or Lyle, you wanna touch on this, or?
Yeah, I can't remember when we met, but we met and reviewed the preliminary, work to be done on the audit, for this end of the fiscal year 9/30. Went over the fees, asked the usual questions concerning any knowledge of fraud and so on, and scheduled the audit. It is in process now as we speak. I think they're probably in the other room over there, or will be.
And normally, we normally get those, that completed, what, about January?
We're looking forward to December.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
We'll move right along this year.
Well, we have some deadlines for reporting to Paris. That has to be in before the end of the year. December 31st is our
Okay.
deadline for reporting to Paris. So we'll need it for the December board meeting. And we should have it. She's indicated we can do that.
And Lyle, they'll know early on if that GASB 77 comes into play, which you and her both felt didn't.
It doesn't affect us until next year.
Okay.
We know that. However, I'm gearing up for it this year because I may have to report some of this to the treasurer.
So we might do almost like a pro forma preliminary run through this year.
I think we have the system in place to do the reporting. We do a certain amount of it already on Paris. Becky does that. And we've beefed that up. I think we're ready.
Dave, I got a question for you.
Sure.
Just looking at this, we have 10 board members that are assigned to this committee. We only have 5 people here, so we don't have a majority.
Right.
So we can't make any decisions today.
Who was, who indicated they weren't going to be here?
Well, I knew Michelle and,
John and Michelle, I
John.
think.
John and Michelle, I'm not
So we
sure
got
about
Rich
Jeremiah.
and Jeremiah.
Jeremiah was, I think, supposed to be here, the founding was gonna be here, right?
Do you want to put this committee off until, and do the other committee first, Dave, and see if somebody shows up?
yeah, and yeah, anything that we've got,
We'll have to withdraw all those motions we need.
we can
Or
reconfirm
just,
them.
okay.
Yeah, we'll reaffirm them.
I just don't
once.
want to get ourselves in trouble, that's all.
Good catch.
Oh, you love to get us in trouble, Virgo, you know what?
You get enough trouble by yourself.
You just found a new sergeant at arms.
Especially with the personnel issue.
But that's exactly right.
One question I had, is the fee for the audit up from last year,
3%.
3%?
Yes.
And that's their standard
That's their
quote?
standard, yes. Then 3%.
Well, if there's nothing
No,
else.
they're,
Okay.
that's a standard.
Okay.
Right. With that being brought to mind, I'd like to adjourn this meeting at this time. Until we have a quorum. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.